our little booktube. Well, I was right. I got another mail haul, and I figured, why not share it with you? After all, I share everything else. Why not? So we'll start with this first one. This it's a fairly good sized mail haul, and it ends with not one, not two, but three boxes. So Steve's pretty happy about that. But this first one's got to be a catalog because it's flopping all over the place. And I guess, are we sort of? No, it's a little early for fall catalogs. I would love that. I can't wait for them. But... okay. All right. Okay, this is National Audubon Society. This isn't a book at all. I did a subscription, a cheap subscription with them. One of the ones where you get a free gift, and this must be my free gift. It is a National Audubon Society rain slicker. It looks like interesting. Okay, all right. It's all formaldehyde now, but when it's been out in the rain, it'll natural up. And then we've got this one here. From a little outfit called Open Letter. University of Rochester. They're very good at translated literature, and they're very bad at getting our mail at Open Letters Monthly. Open Letter is not the same thing as Open Letters Monthly, just so you know. We're both great, but we're not the same thing. And this is, okay, so this is translated literature. This is The Invented Part by Rodrigo Freisan. I think I'm going to need your help, those of you who are in Spain. The pub sheet says he's one of the most respected Spanish language authors of our times. And I'd love to know what, those of you who are in Spain, I'd love to know what you know about him. He's been praised by the likes of John Banville, Jonathan Latham, Robert Bolaño, and his work has earned comparisons with David Foster Wallace, Thomas Pynchon, William Gaddis, and many others. One of those names is not like the others. That might all sound like hyperbole, just a touch, yes. But won't as soon as you start reading The Invented Part, the first book in a projected trilogy. This novel mixes high-concept science in fiction ideas. Science in fiction, okay. With hilariously manic lists and deep dives into the histories of F. Scott Fitzgerald's Tender as the Night, Kubrick's 2001, The Kinks, and more. The plot is simple enough. An aging writer whose books about how writers and writing are no longer preferred flavor of the literary world wants to change and extend his life by breaking into CERN and the Large Hadron Collider so that he can merge with the so-called God particle and become a consciousness outside of time, one that can rewrite reality according to his whims. Okay, all right. Okay, so this comes out in May as a paperback. It looks like it's going to be an original paperback. That's great. Give people an incentive to give it a try. I would certainly bring it out that way if it were up to me. This is going to be a leap of faith for most American readers. Why not make it semi-affordable? All right, let's move on. This next one here. Tab, of course, does not work. Let's see. Oh, okay. I think we've seen this on this channel before. This is A Welcome Murder by Robin Yoakum. Kind of a nice cover. Robin Yoakum is the author of A Brilliant Death, and he's written a bunch of other things. He's the president of Yoakum Communications, a public relations and marketing firm in Westerville, Ohio, where I have been. He's well known for his work as a crime and investigative reporter with the Columbus Dispatch from 1980 to 1991. Okay, so he was a longtime journalist who turned to writing fiction. And A Welcome Murder, after his unspectacular professional baseball career ends with a knee injury in Toledo, Johnny Earl gets busted for selling cocaine. After several years in prison, all he wants to do is return to his hometown of Steubenville, retrieve the drug money he stashed before he went to jail, and start a new life where no one has ever heard of Johnny Earl. However, before he can leave town with his money, Johnny is picked up for questioning in the murder of Race Dobner, the FBI informant who had set him up on drug charges in the first place. Then his former prison cellmate shows up, a white supremacist who wants the drug money to help fund an Aryan nation in the wilds of Idaho. 5 memorable characters, each with a separate agenda, come together in this layered tale of murder, deceit, and political intrigue. Okay. This comes out in early April. A white supremacist compound in the wilds of Idaho. Okay. All right. Or in the Oval Office. Whatever works best for your money. Let's see. Let's move on here. No doubt the book was plotted and written in simpler times. Let's move on. Oh, this is from Tor. Oh, fantastic. Okay. So this is Gather Her Round by Max Bledsoe, a novel of the Tufa. It's the most recent installment of the acclaimed Tufa novels. Love and tragedy are not strange bedfellows among the Tufa. Young Kara Rogers disappears while hiking in the woods by Needsville. When her half-eaten remains are discovered, the blame falls upon a herd of wild hogs, a serious threat in this rural community. In response, the country's best trackers, including game warden Jack Cates and ex-military Tufa Bronwyn Chess, are assembled to hunt them down. But of course, it's going to be more complex than that. Great. I like this author's Eddie Lacrosse novels. I think they're fantastic. I've never quite liked the Tufa novels as well, but I'm always willing to give one a try. Oh, I should probably show it to you, shouldn't I? This is what it looks like. There we go. Gather Her Round is the name of it, and it comes out. Okay, it comes out 2 weeks ago. All right. Well, doesn't matter. I'll still read it. Great. So we're doing fine, and now we move on to the boxes. And I'm hoping that one of these, at least one, is a Penguin Classic, because it's been a while. Okay, well, the first thing we have is not a Penguin Classic. This is The Thing About Love by Julie James, with heart-shaped candy, lollipops, shattered, and a 6-inch stiletto heel. FBI agents Jessica Harlow and John Shepard have a past. The former lawyer and cocky Army Ranger clashed during their training at Quantico and gladly went their separate ways after graduating the academy. 6 years later, the last thing either of them expects is to be assigned to work as partners in a high-profile undercover sting. Don't you hate it when that happens? Okay. No pub sheet on this. I'm assuming it's out already. But I'm always up for a sudsy romance. Let's see what this next one is. Tiny little thing, whatever it is. Huh. Okay. Didn't request this one either. This is also an adult contemporary romance. This is Master Professor by Tara Sue Me. I'm hoping that I'm saying that name wrong. I'm hoping that someone doesn't actually have the surname Sue Me. Although, I guess it would be the most American name imaginable, wouldn't it? Andy Lincoln is madly in love with Terrence Knight, her childhood friend, turned Hollywood's newest golden boy. But he's a dominant with a capital D. Am I supposed to know what that is? And wants her trained as a submissive before they would consider a relationship with her. Oh, for God's sake. He enrolls her at the Rack Academy with strict instructions for her teachers. Do whatever you need to, but don't take her virginity. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. All right. I am perfectly willing to give pretty much any writer the benefit of the doubt. But the sheer amount of seismic damage that 50 Shades of Grey has done, yeah, I don't want to read 250 pages of what I think this author is going to serve up for me. I don't want to do it. All right, let's move on. This is our last one. It's our last chance at a Penguin Classic. I think it's probably going to be another adult romance. Oh, no. No, I was wrong. It is a Penguin Classic. Fantastic. And not only that, but it's a great book. So this is fantastic. This comes out in the middle of April, and it is Devil on the Cross by Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who's, you can't really make that out too well, but this is a great author. Just fantastic to see this in a Penguin Classic. And it's such a pretty thing, too. Look at how, I mean, you can't really tell because of the lighting, but look at how minimalist and beautiful that is. That's just lovely. That's a Penguin Classic to really last, to just go on your shelf and be read and reread and reread. Because this author really deserves it. If you don't know his work, well, let's see what they tell us about him. He's an award-winning novelist, playwright, and essayist from Kenya, whose novels have been translated to more than 30 languages. And he lives and teaches in California now. His novels, The River Between, which is just fantastic. These are all great. A Grain of Wheat, Petals of Blood, and Weep Not Child are also available in Penguin Classics. And he wrote a gigantic novel, his greatest thing, Wizard and the Crow, that isn't available in Penguin Classics. But I'd really like it if it was someday available. That would be great. All these older works coming in. But he must be in contact with Penguin Classics. Surely he would give them permission to reprint that book. I don't even think it's in print anymore. That would be lovely. Oh my, that would be lovely. But let's see. This is going to give you a taste of what this is. Oh, this is great. Let's see if they give you anything. Do they give you anything? First published in 1980, Devil on the Cross was written on toilet paper while Ngugi was in prison and had been arrested for political content in one of his plays. It is the first modern novel to have been written in his native Gikuyu, blazing a trail for other African writers to work in their local dialects and for a whole generation of post-colonial literature that focused on Africa's liberation from Western influence. The novel tells the tragic story of Waringa, a young woman who moves from a rural Kenyan town to the capital, Nairobi, only to be exploited by her boss and later by a corrupt businessman. As she struggles to survive, she begins to realize that her problems are only the symptoms of larger societal malaise, and that much of the misfortunes stem from the Western capitalist influences on her country. And this author does amazing things in a minimal amount of space, which makes it kind of ironic that my favorite book of his, what I think is his most successful, most powerful book, is also by far his longest book. It's as long as all of his other books put together. But the things that he can do in a book this small, just have to be seen to be believed. So, all right, well, that is great. So we have Penguin Classic of Devil on the Cross, a very pretty thing. Master Professor, the first in a new series called Lessons from the Rack, that I may not prioritize. The Thing About Love by Julie James, Gather Her Round by Alex Bledsoe, A Welcome Murder by Robin Yoakum, and The Invented Part by Rodrigo Fressan. So that's a fairly varied haul, lots of genre and bracketed on either side by translated literature. So it's fine by me. But there you go. That I think will probably be it for today. But I'll be back next time. Thank you, Book 2.